yeah, I picked up my first camera in high school because I wanted to do art, but I couldn't draw for the life of me. And for a school project, I needed a camera, and I borrowed one of my friends, Sam Wynn's. It was like the oldest Canon Rebel at the time, Canon XT, I think. So I borrowed that, did the project for like a physics project or something, and I really liked using it. So like asked him where he got it, if I could borrow. He let me borrow for a little bit. Liked it, so I took my part-time job money at the time, which is yogurt, to buy that camera with the help of my mom. I think she put in like 50 bucks. I spent like 300 bucks or something, which is a ton of money for a high school kid. So took that, took the camera. Right away, I was like, I need to make money with this to pay it off somehow, just because I figured if I want to buy better equipment, I had to make money. So I tried to do like pictures here and there. I think one of my teachers believed in me, Miss Hannah Jaspard. She paid me 100 bucks to take pictures of bread for her menu. I didn't really know how to do it, so I had a mentor at the time, which is someone I met through the guy who let me borrow the camera, Nam Loon, and he like came and he helped me, let me borrow a lens and all that. The pictures I remember to this day were really bad. I don't think they ever used it, but uh, Miss Jaspard really just wanted to help me, give me motivation to move and improve and like take it further than I would have if it were just a small hobby. So when it came time to proms and graduations, the person that was mentoring me, Nam, he was doing that to make money. So I was like trying to do it myself. I got like two clients, and I think they paid like 20, 30 bucks each. So not much. But at the time, I was following Nam around, and I ended up assisting taking photos for the Chinese New Year festival, Garden Grove. So I got a lot of experience with like bigger cameras then, and meeting other photographers. So that was cool. And I worked on that for a year or two, just doing like proms and graduations. It wasn't a lot of money, but I ended up getting close to like paying off the camera. So I slowly bought more stuff and upgraded. Then when it came time to college, I still had my camera. I was taking pictures of everything at that time. I think I did Project 365 once in high school, where you take one picture every day and then you post it. I think I was posting to Flickr at the time. Flickr's still alive, I think, but they're owned by Yahoo or something. And I learned all about art at that time, and I got like super hot, super hype about myself. So I like started a photography club in high school, but that didn't work out too well. I was teaching like really weird things, but I had people that supported me, so it was cool. They joined the club, they were my officers and all that. I really liked teaching whatever I could teach. Then in college, I kind of put the camera down because I didn't want to fail college, because engineering is kind of a hard degree for me, at least. I'm not that smart, I'm just focused. So I wanted to hone in on that focus and not worry about the cameras and all that. There are events here and there I would help out with, like my school organizations. So I just kind of did stuff for free then. But basically, I shot for 2 years in high school. Didn't really make too much money, but I knew that it was there. I just needed to get better. So when I was nearing graduation for college, I started doing graduation photos again. I was making a lot more money now. I was paying off the camera. I was able to invest in better gear. But one thing that I forgot to mention, in high school, I was like basically begging people, please donate to me so I can like practice my photography and buy better gear. And people were like donating me like $1 at a time. But I was going around doing that and just like trying to get money any way I could, just because I wasn't making much money. And in college, I did the same thing. I said to my classmates, "Hey, if you want to support me in my photography, please like just either tip me more for these graduation photos or just give whatever you can." So I did graduation photos, did a couple like organizations graduation photos, and some classmates and some friends. I went to different schools. I did one at UCLA. I did a lot of UCI. I think I did one high school prom photo shoot at the beach. It wasn't very good. I never think I'm good at all in my art in any of this process. But after I did the graduation photos, and I saw that I was able to make some kind of living out of it, not really a living, but some kind of income by marketing on Facebook and tapping into my network of friends and see like, oh, do you need photos? I can take them for you. This is the fee. Making sure I knew the market. Like, I don't want to charge more than what people can afford. And I don't want to charge so little that I'm making nothing. I ended up falling lower on the spectrum, where it was like it was almost nothing. But I got really interested in wedding photography because I figured that was a really cool thing to do. People have this love story, they want it to be told, so they hire a photographer to capture the moments and tell their story. So I had no experience in wedding photography. I had been reading a lot for years on like the exposure triangle, on how to take good photos, how to do posing, blah blah. And I had to be mentors along the way, but I never had a mentor long enough to actually teach me to get to the level of a wedding photographer. So I did the old school hustle, and I went on Yelp, literally contacted every single photographer I saw who had a style that I liked. So I was cold emailing. Some said I had to pay them like $300 to assist them. Some said there's a workshop here you can learn there, and then maybe when you get good enough, I'll like have you on as a second. And I met with a woman named Mimi, a woman girl. I met Mimi, and we had a coffee like meeting, and I told her what I knew. I told her what I wanted to do. She asked me one important question. She said like, "What's your style of photography?" And I said, "I like to capture it the way it is." I didn't really know what style was. I didn't know what it meant. I just tried to get the exposure triangle to exposure to be weighted in the middle. No, like I want data in the darks and data in the highlights. I just don't want to have a bad exposure. I had no idea what style of photography meant. So even though I answered that poorly, she still took me on as an assistant. I assisted her for a few years, two, I believe. Uh, I learned a lot and was able to be put into the experience of shooting a wedding, but I didn't really grow after a certain point. I was still kind of just assisting. It was probably my lack of initiative to like move up, so I stopped like messaging her about assisting stuff. So took a little bit of break, but then I had a few connections through our Chell, like her coworkers needed wedding photos, and someone she knew. So I talked to them, and I gave them an affordable rate because I had assisted weddings and seconded weddings, but I haven't shot any of myself. So 3 or 4 weddings later, I've been able to solo shoot, and I made a few connections where they brought me on to second shoot and actually pay me, and this helped me go along. So I started with my Canon T3i that cost me $300, $400. I would make money with that, sell that camera off, and then whatever money I had made from photography, I'll upgrade to the next one. At the time, that was from the Canon T3i to a Canon 40D, which I bought from Nam, my mentor, because he was selling it off and he was selling it for cheap. It wasn't really cheap. I didn't know any better though. I just wanted like an upgrade to have a nicer camera. That's a mistake. Don't ever think that way. So when I started getting ready to do weddings, I upgraded to a full frame camera, the most affordable one I could think of. And I got like a refurbished one on like a Father's Day sale, and it ended up costing me like $1,500 to get the full frame camera, just because I figured, and I was pretty right in that wedding clients who wanted like the full frame look and like the prime lenses, and that was the cheapest route for me to do that. That camera is actually right here, the Canon 6D. It's a tank of a camera. This is the 24-70 lens. It's called the Brick. It's mainly used for weddings just because it's so heavy. I don't really carry it around. That was another mistake. Since this is my only camera, big full frame camera and big full frame lens, it was too heavy to travel with, so I stopped taking photos for fun. So at this point, the only time I picked up my camera was when I had to do a portrait shoot, an engagement shoot, or a wedding. So although I was able to turn my passion into profit, I lost sight of the passion, so I stopped taking pictures. So I took pictures here and there, and once in a while, if I like want to take a picture of Archel or take a picture of my dog or something cool, but I stopped carrying my camera, even though I said I wouldn't. It just got too heavy. I tried to go to Seattle with this, and I had it in my bag, my shoulder bag, and my God, it hurt my shoulders so bad after walking around the city. With just a camera and a water bottle is way too much. So at this point, with my full frame camera, we're sitting around like 2015, 2016, or around 2016 when I was shooting my weddings on my own. But after shooting them on my own, I figured it was pretty stressful, and maybe my lack of marketing or just my lack of skill, I was not able to get to the next price bracket for weddings. Still working on that now. I have a price out there, and I'm joining a team to like get more work. I joined a wedding production team, but in terms of the price bracket I want, where the clients are no longer searching like for bottom of the barrel lowest price, and they like don't have amazing weddings, and they don't really care about your product. They just want the lowest price. Um, those kind of clients were not the ones that I wanted. I wanted to get to the next tier just so it was more fun and it was more engaging. Um, but after the photography, the passion for photography died down, I wanted to get a smaller camera because our child and I were going to Thailand. So I sold off some of my photo gear. At this point, I had amassed like $6,000 of gear. So I had a bit of gear. No, I didn't use all of it. So I sold off my telephoto lens, the 70 to 200 f4IS. I got it from, what was I going to say? Back. I invested it back into my business by investing into a video camera. And I got a suggestion, I got the help to pick it from someone I met through my wedding jobs, Alan Chen. He was a videographer and he used to be a photographer, and he's a UCI student or grad as well, so he helped me out. Picked up the Panasonic G7 for about $450 used, and I ended up spending a little bit more than I had budgeted and spent another $400 on a gimbal. So I brought that to Thailand, was able to get some good stable footage, and was able to start producing videos. But the problem with, before I even get to producing videos part, was I had to learn a new language, which was video editing. That means different software, different techniques, different skills. It's based off of like similar cameras, but it was actually really difficult to learn. So I had to deal with all this frustration and feeling like I started at square one, but I knew that I had to push through it so I could get to the point where I could make videos that I really enjoyed and were proud of. So by the time we left to Thailand, I had made like one video and it was horrible. I never posted it. And I figured I'm just gonna shoot Thailand and I'll figure out how to edit it later. So leading up to Thailand, I was studying for my exam and also like learning how to play Overwatch and also learning how to video edit at the same time. Needless to say, I didn't actually pass my both exams when I took it that time. I was too distracted. But when I came back and I was editing, the videos that came out of the Thailand trip were pretty good for someone at that time. I look back at them now and I can see a bunch of things I would fix, but you have to go through the process of not doing things well and struggling through it to be able to get better. And the only way for you to get paid for your passion is if you get good to the point where the client can't do that same thing themselves. With the advent of these crazy phones these days and these like presets and these templates and all that, you have to get to a certain level before you can earn income, because everyone with their iPhone can just go into Lightroom, throw on a preset, or go into VSCO and pick one of the presets and be able to get a pretty good image. So I figured with videography, I had to push through it. It was gonna suck, but I knew, like everything with all my other camera stuff, that I wanted to make money with it. So I pushed through, and just made these Thailand videos and post them up. They weren't gonna make money, but they were a start. They were something I could add to my portfolio of videos, so when I contact other possible clients, they have they have they have a way to see my work. So with that, our child was going to social media events and tastings where the restaurants would give her food in exchange for her posting it online and like promoting them so they get advertising. I had my camera, so the camera that I bought was the Panasonic G7, which was the baby version of this one. It was the G85. It's the upgrade. The G7 was $450 used, right? I got this for $900 new with lens, and I sold off the lens for like $250, and I got a different lens for $500. But that was after I made a few $100s doing small jobs with video. I was lucky enough that Archel was able to get me a $100 job for Terranea. It was like super underpaid, but it was a good opportunity for me to like cover my first event through video. The second one I shot was a birthday video for one of Archel's friends as well. That's like a recurring theme here. So with I upgraded to the Panasonic G85 because of that stabilization, and I figured I wasn't gonna have my gear, my gimbal with me all the time, but I always wanted to create content, and I wanted the stability just because it like balanced out the shakiness of my hand, so I can get good footage even just like randomly shooting. It's almost like a crutch for me while I learn how to shoot more, shoot better, basically. So at this point, it's probably it's late. It's like late 2017. This is after our Thailand trip, after we came back, and I wasn't really getting. I got paid work for like 2 jobs, and they're very small. So when our child was going to these social media tasting events, I figured I would shoot a video, I post it online. I would kind of embed it in my personal thing. So the thing I was doing vlogging with like the the tripod I use for vlogging is holding out the phone right now, but I'd have a tripod out, camera's looking at me, and I talk about what I'm doing and all that. But between sections of vlog, I would put a little video that I would put a lot of effort into, where I figured that the restaurant could use the video as promotional material or advertising. Because I figured I saw on social media there was a lot of pictures with everyone with their new phones and their nice cameras because cameras prices went down, phone technology went up, but no, not a lot of people were doing videos. So I was doing little videos, and luckily for me, after the second, third, probably the fourth time someone asked for a video, and I always give them the video first because you do something nice first, or you offer something of value before you ask. So I said, hey, you can have this video. Please keep me in mind the next time you need a video. You can direct it, and I can create your vision and get you something that's really catered to you. And at this time, I met Mo from forgot the restaurant name. I'm blanking out on the restaurant name. It's in Costa Mesa. Sweet Tea. Yeah, Sweet Tea. Sweet Tea Cafe in Costa Mesa. He's been hiring me on for a lot of jobs with his various clients. Yeah, Sweet Tea. Thanks, Joe. Got it. He's been hiring me on for a lot of jobs, so I've been able to keep building my equipment, keep bringing in income, and the extra income I make from my photography and videography is either invested back into the business or used for my traveling fund. I always make it a point to not buy gear I can't afford, so I only buy gear that I paid off through work. This keeps me from buying thousands and thousands of dollars of gear because it's nice to buy new toys and electronics. So throughout this process, I started with an entrepreneurial mindset at the very beginning. I bought something. I bought a tool. It wasn't really a toy for me. It was a tool. It was an avenue for me to express myself, but at the same time, it was a tool. At various points, the desire to make profit off of it dampened the passion, but it was always a yo-yo. Like I'd always bounce back. So the passion came back. I found passion in different ways. Passion for portraits that started and kind of like died down while I started doing more events for money instead of shooting for the love of it. And then I found a passion for video because it's more dynamic, it's more engaging, and with my background in dancing and my love for music, it really melded well together with creating a video, a visual experience, and an, au- an experience through sound as well. So being able to curate that experience and express myself through that way was much more rewarding than photography ever was for me. It's still something that I do, it's still something I love doing, but there's just some things I prefer. So I always kept a tab on finding out ways I can use the skills I've developed to bring me income and bring me money. And that served me well because it also taught me how to be an entrepreneur, how to sit down and have a client meeting, how to work with budgets, timelines, various other constraints. Like when you are shooting an event, things happen rapidly and you don't have time to process and think, or you don't have time to just sit down and process the problem. You just have to react properly and professionally. Shooting weddings was very high stress, but now whenever I'm on a job and a client asks me for anything, I'm ready to answer. Like There's not much more stressful than shooting a wedding. A one-time, once-in-a-lifetime chance to cover the event the proper way and the right way for the product for the client. But these days, I do YouTube, I vlog and all that. And although you can make money through ad revenue, it's not my primary source of income. My primary source of income is to use this camera to create commercial videos for clients. And I like that because I'm an entrepreneur, so I like getting in the nitty-gritty and in the weeds to learn how to help them sell better. That'll help me learn how to sell better. And commercial content is just more interesting to me. Although it started with a lot of food, I want to do more events, and I want to do more like lifestyle and inspirational or what have you. Just use my skills to create. That throughout the entire process of making passion into profit, that was the glue that held it all together, that got me through everything. I just wanted to create. I started because I wanted to draw and I couldn't, but I wanted to express myself in some way. And I just like to have that do double duty by bringing me income so I can get nicer equipment, so I can have more life experiences than I would have otherwise. And yeah, that's how I got here. Now my contracts are bridging up to $1,000 jobs, where my first job was what, $10? So it's been a ride. I've been taking pictures for the better part of 10 years or so. Videos for the last 10 months, I would say. 6, 8, I don't know. Started in April-ish, and now it's February. But yeah, there's a few people that I knew wanted to come to this and listen because they wanted to learn about this process and all that. They're not here, but it's okay. We can work with that. I'll probably record this and cut it because there's like 30 minutes of nothing. But for those who are still here, there's 6 of you. Probably one of them is my computer. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I've been talking for a better chunk of the last 20 to 30 minutes. Figured I wasn't going to have people come and interacting as much as I'd want to, but I still wanted to get this content out. That's the purpose of doing the live stream. It's a way for me just to get a video out there and just create. And I don't have to edit it, it's just live. Yeah, thanks for listening to my story. I'll hang out for a little bit and answer any questions. Someone just joined now, I think. It doesn't say who joins. Let me check on this phone. Talk about OMFG. Oh, right. So, Archelle, my girlfriend, is an influencer, so she gets a lot of free stuff. It's not really free. It's an exchange for advertising, like I said before. And she was able to get a ticket to LED Presents OMFG in San Diego for New Year's. And the other time we got invited to an event like that, they gave us 2 tickets, but this time they only gave her 1. And at this point, it was November, and I had been making a lot of videos. I made a video for 626 Night Market, and I made a few big videos for food tours in San Francisco. So I told her, hey, offer them a video, and maybe they'll give me a ticket. That works for me because the ticket's like $200. I don't know how expensive it is. It was a lot of money. I wasn't planning on going if I had to pay. But lo and behold, the social media coordinator, she said, yeah, sure, we'll give you a ticket, blah, blah, and you can get your ticket. All you have to do is make a video for us. I'm like, sweet. I'd always gone to music events, but they always like band cameras, like no interchangeable lenses, no whatever size. So I could never take pictures of the event. And as a photographer of however many years, I would love to take pictures. So it was a really cool experience to be able to bring. It was actually this camera and this cage and a similar mic to this. I actually lost the mic I brought to the event, but this is the camera I brought. A bigger lens, it's really, really big lens. But yeah, we were able to go backstage, not backstage, backstage, the production booth, and anywhere we wanted in the event, really, except on stage itself. And it was my first experience shooting a music event like that, rave, and it was really really fun. I actually met some guy there who told me like his passion was to shoot video, take pictures, and he really loves like EDM. So he like really wanted to have the opportunity that I had, and I just kind of mooched that opportunity off of our show. I mean, I did my own work and established myself credibility as a videographer, but the notion that you have to be really good at something to get paid for it is true to an extent, but the threshold is really low. You don't have to be Spielberg level video like cinematographer. He's a director, I think, but you don't have to be able to make movies to shoot a movie. Like you just have to like know the right people and be at the right place at the right time. So that's how I got my work with Mo. I had a certain skill set that I established and I was ready for the opportunity, and the opportunity came and he saw my work and he wanted to hire me on for more work. If you don't develop your skills to that point and you run into the opportunity, now you have the opportunity but you're not prepared for it. And that's where the mismatch is. A lot of people work expecting an opportunity to come. You never know when it's going to come. You just always have to be ready, and you always have to keep your skills sharp and develop them and learn and keep up to date with everything. And that's what I do with my videography. And since I have a true passion for it, it wasn't hard to do. I just really like learning about it and getting better. Talk about powerlifting. So when I was in middle school, I was almost 200 pounds. I think I was in that 190 something on the scale. No muscle. Federation's not a compete. Okay, I'll fast forward. I was really overweight, then I got stronger. Then I spent a lot of effort joining difficult sports to lose weight. I got to college, I really wanted a six pack, so I like did bodybuilding, but then I got like muscle dysmorphia and I started starving myself too much, and then I got like bad body image and had struggled with that. So it was getting really unhealthy for me. So I gravitated towards powerlifting because I found out that I was really good at deadlifting. 20% better than that. So let's wrap this up. I'm really good at powerlifting, or really good at deadlifting. I was 154 pounds at the lowest of my cut, and I deadlifted 455. So that's 3 times my body weight. So I was like, hey, I have a knack for this. Let's try it out. So I learned about it. I researched. I asked friends. I asked people to teach me, and I got to the point where I was able to compete. Go like your videos on what, YouTube or Instagram? And what did Kevin say? Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Exactly, Kevin. That's the quotes I think of and I live by. To compete in a federation, there's a few. There's USPA and USAPL. USAPL is the one that's drug tested, and it's a little bit more difficult. Your heels have to touch the ground when you bench. Your head can't lift off the bench, and they require you to go to a deeper depth. That's the more serious one. I competed in USPA. If you want to win, you can just go to one that's really far away from everything, and you'll probably win if you're somewhat decent. So with those, if you want to be the most competitive and you're under 23, you should probably do one where you walk in, so you don't diet, or you diet but you don't water cut. Because when you water cut for a competition, it's really scary and it's kind of stressful. So if you want to start competing, I would look for a location, look for a date, and plan maybe 2 to 3 months out of training that's geared toward that competition. So let's say you picked one in May. If you pick one in May, you can start now. The peak cycle is actually 6 weeks or 7 weeks. I compete in USPA. You just pay them. You can like pay them online to join, and then you pay for a meet. It's really simple. Yeah, compete in USPA. You would take a few months out to like train for it, but the peak cycle itself is only like 6 weeks or so. And peaking means you train so that your maximum lift is on the day of the meet. But if you really want to do that, I would suggest getting on a powerlifting program and kind of go through a cycle first, and then match that peak cycle with the meet itself. I wouldn't do a water cut. You could probably try dieting, just like a regular slow cut. Maybe drop 5 pounds at most. To just walk into it, just so you get the experience. Because the first time it's gonna be really stressful. You have to you have to like weigh in, and then you have to make sure you don't eat too much, and you have to monitor your water and your energy levels, and it's like a 6 to 7 hour thing. So if you are water cutting as well, you're gonna have less energy, and you can perform much worse than you do in the gym. If you walk into it and you just diet a little bit, your performance on the day of the meet is going to be very similar to the days in the gym, with a little bit less power, or a little bit lower lifts, just because you're doing all three in the same day, compared to in the gym where you max out one every day or every other day for the peak week or the max week. So I would suggest just walking into it. It's not too hard. You just have to manage your energy. So what helps is having someone watch you. Not watch you. What helps is having someone kind of just like monitor your lift times, your schedule, and basically help you decide your list for you, because you'll have 3 attempts for every lift. And if they watch you and they see that your first attempt was really slow, you will jump less. They'll suggest you to jump less for the second attempt. But if they see like you just destroyed it, which you should, the first attempt is supposed to be like a gimme, then you'll move up, and they'll worry about that for you. So you have to worry about less on the day of the meet. I forgot what the term was called. I've been out of the game for a while. But yeah, competing USPA is less stressful. USPA you weigh in the day before, USAPL you weigh in the day of. So USPA you can weigh in the day before after a water cut, and then fuel up for the next 24 hours. USAPL, if you water cut, you only have like 2 hours to like refuel, so it's really stressful. But yeah, it's easy if you just like walk into weigh, and then you just compete that like that. Go for the experience, go to learn how it works. Do it for yourself, don't really compete with others. I competed in USPA, and I went to a small meet in the middle of nowhere, and I was pretty strong for my weight, so I got first place. But I didn't really have much competition. The other guys, they were stronger than me in certain lists, but they didn't manage their energy well. So they ended up missing attempts just enough for me to get by and win. So yeah, I did a water cut, and it was way scary. I did a mock meet 2 months prior, where my friend just hosted a meet, and I did a real water cut then. So I was kind of prepared for the first meet where I did a water cut. But yeah, it was a fun experience. I didn't come back just because I felt like it's really expensive, and it wasn't something I valued that much. It was nice to have the experience once, but not something I do like multiple times a year. Yeah. Any other questions, Denise? Just the last 40 seconds. I'm closing off at the hour mark. Thank you for the 6th hour here. I know Mike's just listening. He's probably doing something. Rachel has to be here. Kevin's popping in while he's doing his traffic school. Show Jackson. Jackson, get up. Come here. Come here. He's stretching, so give him a second. Okay. Stop stretching. All right. He's sleepy, so I'm probably sleepy too. I gotta get back to studying for my drone exam. Yeah, I'll work on the weighting later. Yeah. Thank you all for coming. I'll post this up live and have a little timestamp on when the actual story starts, because I'm pretty bad at this. What's up, Derek? Thanks again for working on my animated intro. You're the best. Can't believe someone who gave a preset or sold a preset pack or animation pack to the Peter McKinnon is my friend. I'm like famous by association. Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming. I probably like droned off. I'm not really excited. Or not excited. I'm not like really energetic as I would be. It's the end of the workday. A long day. Thanks. Bye, everybody.